Hey, good day everyone. I am Ana Sultan and I'm from Group 6 and today I'm going to discuss to you these three plants which is the Hagonoy, Bakit, and Balimbing. Okay, so now first we have the plant Hagonoy which is described as a climbing, rough, herbaceous vine. Leaves are opposite, ovate, and about 6 to 8 centimeters long with pointed tips, rounded bases, and also crossly toothed margins. Stalks are 3 to 6 centimeters long, head are 3 centimeters in diameter, numbering from 1 to 3, sometimes more, and the upper axils with stalks about 7 to 10 centimeters long. So this plant is known to have involucral bracts that are narrowly oblong and somewhat recurved, also hairy and equaling or exceeding the disc. Now, Hagonoy, for its scientific name, Wedelia biflora, and Hagonoy is also called or also known as Agunoy, Hagonoy, and beach sunflower in English. And this plant is from the family Asteraceae. Now, it is usually abundant in thickets of beaches and along tidal streams throughout the Philippines. So it also occurs in India to China, Malaysia, and tropical parts of Australia and Western Polynesia. Now for its plant constituents, we have here veratrilidin, hydrazine, quercetin derivatives, stigmasterol, and grandifloric acid. So, hydrazine po is mainly used as foaming agent in preparing polymer foams, but applications also include its uses as precursor to polymerization na catalyst, pharmaceuticals, and agrochemicals. So it is known to be a highly and easily combustible. But aside from this, ito po ay extremely toxic and could probably cause or could probably be carcinogenic. Okay, when humans are exposed to this to hydrazine vapor, they will suffer or burns in the eyes, nose, mouth, esophagus, and respiratory tract. These severe burns can be fatal. So next are ang ating quercetin derivatives naman. So quercetin po, it is a water-soluble and it is a flavonoid. So its derivatives have ameliorative effects, okay, on host disorders including cancer, renal, and cardiovascular diseases. Now, when it comes naman po sa ating stigmasterol, which is derived from sitosterol, sorry, okay. It has a role in plant stress responses, metabolism, and enzymes involved in the biosynthesis of plant cell membranes.
So now when it comes to its uses, in the Philippines, the root of hagonoy is used as stomachache and it's div as diuretic. Pag sinabi nating stomachache, this is an agent that improves our digestion and appetite. Kapag diuretic naman po, this increase the flow of our urine. So diuretics promote the removal from the body of excess water, salts, poisons, and accumulated metabolic products such as urea. So the decoction of root is slightly purgative. So its roots and leaves is used for or to treat stomach aches and fevers. Leaves used for cleaning and dressing ulcers. And its juice with cow's milk can be taken as tonic after childbirth. So decoction of leaves used as antiperiodic in malaria and in hematuria. So pag sinabing antiperiodic, this means that it prevents the regular recurrence of symptoms, or it prevents the periodic return of attacks of that disease, ang ating malaria and hematuria. Kapag sinabi po nating hematuria, ito po yung dugo sa ating ihi. So, dumako naman po tayo sa related studies ng Hagonoy. So, this research is entitled Evaluation of Antimicrobial and Wound Healing Potentials of Ethanol Extracts of Wedelia biflora ng ating Hagonoy. So, as stated na po sa title, yun nga, i-evaluate natin yung antimicrobial and wound healing potential ng extract or ethanol extract ng ating Hagonoy. So, in vitro assays, the test extract was subjected to antimicrobial activity by these two methods, which is the agar-well diffusion method. Ang method na ito ay ginagamit to evaluate the antimicrobial activity ng ating plant or microbial extracts. Okay? And the other method naman po is the minimum inhibitory concentration method. Okay, this is used po, or this is a technique used to determine the lowest concentration of a particular antibiotic needed to kill the bacteria. So, paano madetermine na ito? So, it can be determined by culturing microorganisms in liquid media or on plates of solid growth medium. So, wound healing activity of the test extract was studied by excision and incision wound model in Wistar albino rats. So, in excision wound model, mayroon tayong 97.90% wound healing, and it was recorded in 10% overweight extract treated group on 6 days of post-surgery, whereas 58.50% was observed in control group. So, in incision model, high breaking strength, high proxyl proline content, and histopathological study in extract-treated groups revealed higher collagen redeposition than the control group. So, ang result po is these observations establish the traditional claim and therapeutic of activity of Wedelia biflora, and it could be a potent wound healing candidate for use in future. So, bago po natin makalimutan na yung mga authors po nito ng research na ito ay si D. Biswas, G.P. Yoganandam, A. Day, and L. Deb. So for our next related study, this is an evaluation of Wedelia biflora for anthelmintic and antimicrobial activity. So the alcoholic and aqueous extract of roots of Wedelia biflora were screened for anthelmintic and antimicrobial activities. So the anthelmintic activity was investigated against adult Indian earthworm or Ferretima postuma using piperazine citrate as reference standard. So, ang ating piperazine po is an orally administered drug that kills roundworms in the GI tract in a variety of species including dog and cats. So, the result po, both extract exhibited significant anthelmintic activity at higher concentration of 100 mg per milliliter. And moreover, the ethanolic extract was found to be more potent than the reference control piperazine citrate kasi nga po, the alcoholic extract caused paralysis in 10 minutes and death in 27 minutes. So, while the aqueous extract naman po showed paralysis in 9 minutes and death in 28 minutes against Ferretima postuma. The standard piperazine citrate showed the same at 19.5 minutes and 52 minutes. So, the result of antimicrobial activity revealed that the ethanolic extract exhibited maximum activity against the tested organisms when compared to aqueous extract. So we have here our next plant, which is the bucket, which is described as a shrub that grows from 1 to 3 meters high with young branches that are four-angled, reddish or pinkish. Leaves are ovate or ovate lanceolate, which is about 4 to 8.5 centimeters in length and 2 to 4 centimeters in width, blunt or rounded at the base and pointed at the tip. So its fruit is composed of 5 very small cocci surrounded by fleshy, persistent petals and sepals of a bluish-black color, giving it a berry-like appearance. Kaya na makikita nyo po sa picture na naka. So for our next plant po, which is the bucket, scientific name of this plant is Coriaria intermediamatsum. So ang ating bucket po is also known as buakat, bikit, or Japanese false blueberry in English. So this plant belongs to the family Coriariaceae. So this plant is found in ravines, sa mga bangin, at an altitude of 1,400 to 2,000 meters in Bontoc, Lepanto, and Benguet in the Mountain Province. And it can also be found in Taiwan. So for its plant constituents, we have poisonous glycosides, coriamyrtine, dimethyl ether, beta-2-tene, naringenin, ursolic acid, and roots and fruits of this plant yielded corianine and angustifolin. The uses naman po ng ating bakit? So, no reported folkloric medicinal use in the Philippines. So, Igorots reported to be acquainted or with the toxicity of the plant. So, in Taiwan, it is used as folk medicine. Sa Pilipinas, hindi. So, for gastrointestinal rheumatism and uterine cancer. So, this is common in pasture in the mountain province and has caused the death of cattle. Okay, in China, a mixture of crystalline sesquiterpenes including coriamyrtine and tutine has used as a muscle injection for the treatment of catatonia and also applied as shock therapy for schizophrenia. Now, for the related studies on bucket, we have here a research entitled Poisoning by Coriaria virtifolia linnaeus, a new case report and review of the literature. So, this shrub produces a toxin coriamyrtine that is present in high concentrations in the berries. Ingestion of few fruits similar to blackberries may induce digestive and neurological manifestations including seizures, coma, and apnea. So the authors present a new case report that took place in the French Catalonia. So in order to evaluate the consequences of this C-myrtifolia poisoning, 83 cases of the literature were analyzed. So the cases occurred in 3 countries, Spain, France, and Morocco. The mean delay of the symptom development was 150 minutes. The neurological disturbances were the most frequent signs and 11 patients died. Okay, 6 children and 5 adults to be exact. So it is mainly. So the authors of this research are Luc De Haro, Philip Pomier, Lucia Tichadu, Marivon Hayek Lantowis, and Jocelyn Arditi. So for our next related study entitled Distribution and Morphoanatomical Characterization of Bucket in Cordillera Central Range in Northern Philippines. So the populations of Coriaria intermedia in CCR or Cordillera Central Range had never been studied in detail. So ito po yung aim talaga ng research na ito, to know more about the distribution and morphoanatomical characterization ng plant na ito. So the result showed that or provide essential information for understanding the plant and for developing conservation strategies not just for this plant but also for the other related plants in the CCR biogeographical zone. Okay, next plant, the balimbing. Okay, this plant is described as a small tree growing to a height of 6 meters or less. Leaflets are smooth, usually in 5 pairs. Ovate to ovate lanceolate, the upper ones about 5 centimeters long and the lower ones are smaller. So, petals are purple to bright purple, often margined with white. Ang prutas naman nito is fleshy, green to greenish yellow, and about 6 centimeters long with 5 longitudinal, sharp, and angular lobes, and its seeds are areliate. So, ang scientific name po ng balimbing ay Averrhoa carambola. So, ang ating balimbing ay tinatawag ring balimbing or daligan. And starfish naman po sa English. And this plant belongs to the family of Oxalidaceae. Balimbing can be found in ravines at an altitude of 1,400 to 200 meters in Bontoc, Lepanto, and Benguet in the Mountain Province and also reported in Taiwan. Okay, for the plant constituents of balimbing. So studies indicate the presence of saponin, alkaloids, flavonoids, and tannin. So the seeds of this yield an alkaloid and harmaline. So, chemical formula ng harmaline natin ay C13, H14, and 20. Pero ano nga ba ang harmaline na ito? So, the use of this is used to treat Parkinson's disease. So, this is an analgesic, emmenagogue, and abortifacient agent. So, phytochemical screening of leaf extract yielded alkaloids, glycosides, tannins, flavonoids, proteins, and diterpenes. For the uses of balimbing, so in the Philippines, the fruit is eaten with or without salt. So the juice is used for seasoning. Fruit used in making pickles and sweets. Okay, in Java, flowers are used in salad. So leaves applied externally for fevers and fruit syrup can be used as cooling drink for fevers. So ang prutas nito ay laxative and also used as hematemesis melena and other form of hemorrhages or hemorrhage. Dumako naman po tayo sa related studies ng balimbing. So, analysis of the potential topical anti-inflammatory activity of Aroa carambola in mice. So, inflammatory disorders po like psoriasis and atopic dermatitis are very common in the population. However, the treatments currently available are not well tolerated and often ineffective. So, balimbing po is an Asian tree that has been used in traditional folk medicine in the treatment of several skin disorder. So, this study evaluates the topical anti-inflammatory effects of the crude flavonoids on skin inflammation. So, anti-inflammatory activity was measured using a croton oil-induced or ear edema model of inflammation in mice. So the result po showed that the treatment of mice did not yield successful result. So, in conclusion po, taken together, these preliminary results support the popular use of A. carambola, ang ating balimbing, as an anti-inflammatory agent and open up new possibilities for its use in skin disorder. So, ang napakagandang research na ito po conducted by Daniela Almeida Cabrini, Evelis Fernandez Moacir Geraldo, Henrique Hanger, Daniel Augusto Gasparin, Ines Maria Costa Brigente, Priscilla Imazu, Michelle Flight Otuki, Bueno Mendez, Arthur da Silvera Prudente, and last but not the least, Cynthia Delay da Silva. So, okay, for the last related study, okay, this is entitled Hypotensive Effect of Aqueous Extract of Varroa carambola in Rats, an in vivo and in vitro approach. So, napaka-obvious po no, na ang aim ng study na ito is to evaluate the hypotensive effect of the aqueous extract of balimbing and its underlying mechanisms in the isolated rat aorta. So when it comes to materials and methods of this research, the effect of balimbing on the mere arterial pressure was determined in vivo anesthetized rats. In, vit- in vitro, thoracic aortic rings were isolated and suspensed in organ bats. And the effect of balimbing were studied by means of isometric tension recording experiments. In HPLC analysis, the fingerprint chromatogram of AEC was established. So, the results demonstrate the hypotensive effects po na makikita natin dito of balimbing, and these effects may in part be due to the inhibition of calcium, which supports previous claims of its traditional use.